everyone, CFL Park Hopper here at SeaWorld Orlando, and we're here today to check out Inside Look, which is a special behind the scenes event that they do once or twice a year on weekends, where you can go behind the scenes of some of the animal habitats and see how they really care for the animals and hear from the wildlife experts here at the park of what they do. So we're gonna head first into the Seafire Grill. Inside this restaurant, there is a theater, and we're gonna go in and hear from JP. He is the Vice President of Rescue and Rehabilitation here at SeaWorld, and he's gonna talk about how they go out into the wild and rescue animals and try to rehabilitate them and get them back and released back into the wild. So let's go.
Last year we did 19 dolphin rescues, and all 19 dolphin rescues, we returned them back to the natural waterways on the same day that we did the rescue thing. But that's really cool to see as a mom and cat pair, healthy, good. Why do we put towels on? Well, a couple of reasons. One, we don't want to get sunburned. We've got a ride to go, and they're not used to being out. Two, it's a way we can keep them cooled down, so we can just keep wetting it down. And then three, and you'll laugh at this, when you're driving that fast down waterways, you'll wind burn. So their skin's really sensitive to that. So you protect against all that. Why don't you cover up their heads? That's pretty obvious. They need to breathe. But we protect everything else. Next slide here actually shows where we rescued, where we traveled, released, and where we traveled and released. And you say, well, it's two animals. Why? We didn't split them up. This is multiple trips. We took 5 animals out of that waterway. 2 pairs, mom and calf pairs, and then a young adolescent male who was on his own. Had gone up in that, if you look at that river where you see the dots and up run up into the grass, center. So anyhow, but those are the tracks. So once we're done, we don't just walk away from them. We're not just like, have a good day, swim off, great to see. We like that. But we also keep a tag on them. Most people ask me, how long does the tag last? It depends what we're trying to find out. On these kind of tags, I just want lamb lunch, so I'm just looking for traveling. That's what we want to see on it. So that tag lasts us anywhere from 6 months to a year. Some other tags we use, we want a lot more information. And the tags are about yay big. They're really small. The other tags, I want a lot of information, like how deep are you, what's water temperature, how long do you stay down. That's what we do on pelagics. Those tags don't last as long because when they hit the surface, there's an upload of all that information. It burns a lot of battery. But in these, we get a lot of information on track of where you go. Now you say, okay, you got all the track, what's that do? Well, 2 things. One, we can tell when they're really migrating correctly, like they're back with the pod again. 2, if they were to go back and beach again, I have to go back. That's part of it. We have to go back and help them. So we say on the hook, until that tag burn is out, if anything happens, we as SeaWorld, we as Southern Australia will react to it, and we will head back to that animal. So this is us using a boat. Dolphins up on what we call a Navy map. It's called a Navy map because it was designed by the Navy. It floats. It can hold probably somewhere around 3,000 pounds above water. So it's a great working platform when you're in deep water. And that's deep water that we're dealing with. So we put them up on the map so we can deal with it. The next slide's going to show why. He had about 75 hooks on him. He had a little over, I think it was 15 pounds worth of monofilament line and lures and weights. This poor little guy was dragging around. You can go to the next slide. I'll show it better. This little guy was pulling around just all these fishing hooks. And you say, well, what do you do? Well, we give a long-lasting antibiotic. Our veterinarians go with us. So we check them and treat them. We've got this really cool machine that I can take blood, I can put it in this little disc. It's called a G4 disc. And I stick it in. It's called an ISAT. It runs all the blood in the field for me. So why do we make all this effort? Why is it so important to do that? I'll tell you why it's important to me, because you guys need to be able to see dolphins, manatees, and turtles as you guys grow up. And hopefully as you grow up, you'll do the same thing and help tell that story to make sure your kids can see dolphins, manatees, and turtles.
All right, everyone, we're now here at Empire of the Penguin, where you can go in the regular way and see the penguins. However, for Inside Look, you can go behind the scenes and see extra stuff. So we're gonna keep walking up this path and around, and we're gonna get in a back door and see some extra special exhibits that you wouldn't see from the normal way. Let's go.
Penguin keepers here. These are 8 of my Magellanic friends. Have you guys all been to SeaWorld before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Have you seen our Antarctic exhibit before?
Yeah.
Awesome. These are not penguins you would have seen in our Antarctic exhibit, but if you would have done a penguin encounter, these are the penguins that we use. The reason they do not live with the rest of our penguin colony is because they don't live in the same temperature environment. So typically these penguins can be found in the southern tip of South America, around Chile, Argentina, and the Falkland Islands. So surprise! You didn't know there are warmer weather penguins. There are warmer weather than this as well. So there are penguins called Galapagos penguins that, based off of the name, hang out on the Galapagos Islands right along the equator. So they're really tropical, just like myself. So because they can tolerate warmer temperatures, we can take them out to schools, children's hospitals. We've actually taken them to New York on an airplane. We wouldn't be able to do that with our colder weather birds because of their need for colder environments.
Hi guys.
Do you have any questions so far before I continue talking about them? This is a display of I got too close, now I'm learning the hard way. So that's just called bill slapping or sparring. So just like with us, we might have our own comfort levels as far as space. That could extend to just myself, it could extend to myself or my mate or offspring. So sometimes like Kermit here, he's just very comfortable. Ty is one of our younger birds. Just like with people or other animals, the younger they are, sometimes the more curious. So sometimes he comes up too close to other birds and they tell him the hard way. Or just like with us, they have different ways of kind of socializing or interacting with one another. One might be physical, or they're going up and maybe biting, or they're bill slapping. It could be vocal, where they're communicating by using different sounds of vocalization. Or it could just be visual and body display. So a lot of times, if they're not happy about something or they're trying to give you a warning, you'll see this really cute head tilting. You do it back and you're sending them a signal of you're going to bite. So to me, when I see a penguin going like this, yeah, it's very cute, but it means also I have 30 seconds to get out of their space. So just like with us, they have different ways of communicating with one another or with me as well.
Some exciting penguins that we have in here. We have 2 chicks that are down here. One on this nest, one on this nest, and there's also a chick that's up there. They were all hatched on December 27th and December 29th. So that brings our total to 16 chicks that
Check out the chick right here. Oh,
we are in the middle
cute.
of our breeding season, so while our smaller species have all hatched, our kings are still laying their eggs. And you'll see that the small species of penguins have a nest, we have a hatch. The kings, however, do not have nests. They actually lay their eggs and keep them on top of their feet. So the smaller species will have 2 eggs per season, but the kings only have 1. The kings that are right down here at the glass actually have some eggs. And you'll see that they have like a flat stomach, and that's because their brood pouch is hanging over the egg. They incubate that egg for 55 to 65 days. Dad do take turns incubating and taking care of the chicks. So while one of the parents is out in the water finding food, the other parent is staying with their baby, and then they'll take turns. They eat fish, regurgitate, and then partially digest it, and then regurgitate that partially digested fish into the baby's mouth. At 21 days, those chicks are going to start to get really active, but they're not waterproof yet. Meaning they can't swim because they still have downy feathers. So at 21 days, we actually take our chicks into a nursery, which is right up here, where the gray carpet and the red heat lamp are. That's our chick nursery, and we'll start feeding them full fish at that point. They all hang out together, so there's I think right now 7 or 8 chicks that we have up there. It takes about 3 months for the chicks to lose their downy feathers and grow their waterproof feathers in. Once they're waterproof, we'll be able to let them out into the exhibit where they can go swimming and become fully independent and find food on their own. You guys have any questions? And crab googly eyes.
He's doing the rock thing. He's
They're
making the pebbles for the nest right
rock
here.
pebbles, and they're the ones with
He's
the
the
yellow
dad.
crested eyebrows or feathers coming off the tops of their heads. Yeah. And then we have chin straps. So there's not as many chin straps in the exhibit, but we do have some.
Here comes with another pebble for the nest. So cool. Tell him, stay away from my nest. Stay away from my
They all have
nest.
a unique color combination that helps us identify one bird from another.
Go away.
Here's the regular live exhibit that you normally see when you're here at SeaWorld. All that rest of that stuff we saw was special for Inside Look. But this is what you would normally see when you come. Well, everyone, that was super cool going inside the penguin exhibit and getting to hear all about the different kinds of penguins. I love the part where they were nesting. I've never seen that before. I've only seen it like on documentaries, and I love to see that one carrying the rocks, just like I've seen on a documentary before. That's really what they do, is build the nest. How neat. We're now gonna head over and check out the fish house, where they show how they feed all the animals here at SeaWorld.
Head on inside. Once again, this is our fish house where all of that fish is prepped every single day. Now, the only rule for this building, we can take any pictures that we want. The only rule is that we cannot touch anything, okay? But these buildings are scrubbed from ceiling to floor multiple times, so we don't have to make them more trips, okay? Because once again, these people actually come in every single day, anywhere between 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning. So we want to make their lives a little bit easier, right? Be nice and calm.
All right, guys, we're headed into the fish house. Cool.
Awesome, awesome. So this door only opens so far, my friend.
Sinks over here. Looks like a restaurant kitchen, kind of.
Alright, my friend, so this is going to be where we smell nice and fishy, nice and fishy. So this bowl that we're standing on right here is going to be where all of our marine mammals food is prepped every single day. So everybody does have their designated spots, but this is going to be for all the marine mammals. So whether it's a pinnacle, cetacean, doesn't matter. Right here is where all of that is prepped. Now, these machines right here, these are all ice machines, pretty familiar to some of us, probably most of us. Once again, because when we're going ahead and doing those batches, we're going to make sure that there's ice and not fish. To make sure that it's staying nice and fresh, we're going to transport it over to where all the animals live. Okay, anybody got any questions? Alright, okay. We're going to continue. Here's the extra stuff.
Fish buckets.
And we're also going to see these lovely hoses here at the ceiling. This is going to be where all of the bird food is prepped. So our aviculture staff are going to be those bird nerds who take care of whether it's the penguins, flamingos, pelicans, whoever. All that is going to be prepped right here. Yes? Fish, exactly. So we do have there our fish, stingrays, our sharks, and our sea turtles. That's also going to be right here in this section here. So in our manatee bowl here, so I know I mentioned we're also going to get bottle feeding for our smaller orphans as well. So that's going to be where all of that is kept.
All right, guys, so we just saw the fish house where they prepare all the fish for all the animals in the park, and we are now over at the wild Arctic area where they house the beluga whales, the seals, and the walruses. And over here's the entrance. We're going to go in on this side, and they're going to kind of give us a little more continuation of how they feed the animals. Like, they're going to talk about how they feed the walruses and how they measure out the food for the animals. And then we're going to go inside and see the animals. So let's go.
So every morning we'll go ahead and we'll make the animals' diets. Now these change based on the animal's age, their weight, the time of year. Sometimes during breeding season, the animals will kind of naturally bulk up, so we want to make sure that we monitor that. For example, walruses, they get weighed twice a week, so we can change it. Garfield is currently, he's also our oldest, but he's our 39-year-old walrus. He's currently getting about 59 pounds of food, and the walruses get a couple different food items. They'll get the herring, capelin, clam, and squid. So the herring is kind of like the nice meat and potatoes, has all the calories. Capelin and the clams and squid are kind of more like a salad. They don't have as much calories to them. So we can, up his complete base. We can kind of change the ratio of different food items. And then the good difference is Cora. She is our 2-year-old walrus, who's born here to Caboodle. So Caboodle and Garfield are her parents. She is their second pup that she's had here. But she's only gaining about 25 pounds. Now that will continue to go up because she is a growing walrus. But it kind of gives you an idea. Now all this food, once we break it out, we have to feed it out within 24 hours. So we can't say, oh, we didn't go through this, or we have extra, let's just go ahead and save it and roll it over. Nope, everything has to be completely fresh. We don't have a 5-second rule. So if it drops on the floor, we don't give it to the animals. A lot of the stuff that we get here is honestly probably better than the stuff that we'll get at the supermarkets. And we will check. So all these things in here every morning, we'll go ahead. So we pull the food 24 hours in advance from our freezer, put it in our cooler, and then we run it in cold water in the sinks. So depending on how frozen it still is, that can take anywhere from around 30 to 40 minutes to completely thaw out so that we can start bucketing it. And we'll use different size buckets for all these guys. Most of our animals are going to have these big ones, or if we're doing the other training sessions, we don't only need a small amount. We can take our little canisters with us. And we'll put ice on it as well to kind of make sure that it stays nice and cool depending where we're going.
There's the seals hanging out. Here's the walrus.
Look at you.
Here he goes. Bye bye, Mr. Walrus. Oh, he's flipping upside down.
Wow.
Here comes Mr. Walrus. Yay. Down and around, and there he goes. Making his loop. There's the beluga whales underwater. Here comes. Hi, buddy. All right, guys, our highlight of the day, we're going inside Orca Encounter. This is behind Orca Stadium, and we're going to get to see up close the killer whales. Check it out, guys, the whales.
How's everyone doing?
Whoa! Thanks, buddy.
Splash the water. We're very close to the my people.
Hi.
My name is Leah. I'm one of the trainers here at Orca Stadium. We're seeing our two boys, Trua and Makayo. Makayo's 11, Trua is 16. And then our three females you guys will see at a later station. Their names are Katina, Nalani, and Malia. And Nalani's 15, Malia's 14, and Katina is 45. We have 7 pools total here. They're all connected with a gate system. So you can see right now this gate is open. So Trua and Kyle have access to both pools. Altogether, it's over 7 million gallons of water. A lot of water. It's always being filtered, and it's always being kept at right around 12 degrees Celsius, which is roughly in the low 50s Fahrenheit. So it's pretty chilly. Pretty chilly. We want to make sure our whales get a nice, well-rounded day. So we have a little acronym to help us make sure they have a balanced day. It's called HELPERS. It stands for healthcare, exercise, learn, playtime, and relationship. So you're going to learn there about their healthcare with Lindsay. These guys voluntarily participate in their own healthcare. This helps us take care of them. We want to make sure they get enough exercise every day, so giving them the opportunity to swim, jump. We want to make sure they're learning new things every day. These guys are so smart, they're so intelligent. So we want to make sure we're challenging them mentally to make sure that they're staying solid. And like you going to school or work every day, we want to make sure we're challenging them too. Playtime, these guys are really playful. You're going to see toys as you walk across, all the toys that our killer whales play with. And we want to build relationships with them too. That's so important to get to know these guys on an individual level. So this is Trua. You get to know them and they get to know us. We do build individual relationships so they can tell the difference between the trainers and who works with them and interacts with them. How do you be a killer whale trainer? Well, a lot of us have a background in psychology or biology. We're scuba certified, strong swimmers because we do have to pass a swim test. And animal experience is really important too. So like volunteering and internships, like when you're in college, all that stuff looks really good on the resume. Do you guys have any other questions? Or I don't know the answer to that.
Hi.
Hi, Trua.
You're doing peekaboo with us.
Is it like in relation to like the animal size and all that stuff? I'm
Hey,
not
buddy.
sure. Yeah. I mean, the largest animal is a big same with them.
Well, welcome, you guys. These magnificent males here are the star of this place. It's absolutely beautiful, Makayo and Trua. So this pool right here is different than our other pools. This pool is is our medical pool. Okay, so the bottom of this pool is able to be raised completely up and out of the water. Why do we have a pool like this? Well, we have the best veterinary care in the entire world. We do a lot of proactive health care. And if we ever needed our vets to get close up to these animals, we need to be able to get their bodies up and out of the water. And so we have this pool. We make this pool super fun for them. They enjoy coming into this pool. We'll raise them up, we'll get in there with them and rub them down and do all sorts of fun things in here. But this pool specifically is used for a lot of our husbandry behaviors. So I know that Leah was talking to you guys about our husbandry or healthcare behaviors. Again, I think that's one thing that sets SeaWorld apart. Our veterinarian staff is extremely proactive, so we do a lot of healthcare behaviors with the animals. We teach them. And every time they're interacting with us, whether it's for their healthcare behaviors, right, you're beautiful, or during our presentations, anytime, the boys are perfect. They are choosing to interact with us. It's always their choice, okay? So anytime you interact with us, it's all voluntary, and they really do take an active role in your own health care. Yes, you do. So, I think one of the most impressive behaviors that we have trained our killer whales is to, dun, 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 pee in a cup. Yes, right here. So, how in the world do we train them to go to the bathroom in the cup? Well, first thing they have to know how to do is to slide up onto a surface, like in the back pool or in the front pool, sideways. Okay, so we have to teach them to do that. Well, then what? You can't really train them to do that. So what happens is a lot of behaviors that you'll see like this are we capture them. So you take the cup, right? By the time they know how to slide their body up, they understand how the training process works. They get jazzed up about it. They love to learn. Top predator of the ocean, very intelligent. Take the cup, put it down by their genitals, and you wait. And they're going to do one of two things. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to either pee or they're going to poop. Whatever they're going to do, right? So, when they pee, right, you throw them a big pee party. That's what we're talking about. Huge party. Huge party. Not a party. Well, you can give them some food, but they get their food no matter what. You want to throw a party by finding out the other things that they love. What toys can you give them that they just absolutely enjoy? Where they like to be rubbed down. I know where you like to be rubbed down, and they show you where they like to be rubbed down. I mean, just like your dog or your cat, right? When you rub them down, they lean up into you. The whales do the same thing. If they're not leaning up into you, you're either not doing it with enough gusto, or it's not really their favorite place to be rubbed down. So try something else. They'll roll their bodies. And they'll show you exactly where they want to be rubbed down. Mikhail loves ice. You know, he loves ice. So I could throw him a huge party with tons of ice. It's our job to find out what those things are that you love. That's right. And then throw you a big party to let you know how much we appreciate you. So we do voluntary urine samples, voluntary respiratory samples. We put a signal to them to exhale, and we can get respiratory samples. We can get fecal samples. We get blood samples. It's all voluntarily trained with them. And I lost my train of thought, so let's write about the respiratory sample. But those are some of the most impressive behaviors that I think that we are able to do with our animals. And again, like I said, I know what I'm saying. One of the major causes of death in the wild for killer whales are tooth infections. They get one set of teeth their whole life, and their jaws are hollow. So they use their teeth for everything. If they get broken or chipped, they can't do anything about it. So we have a water pick. So we have a killer whale-sized water pick that we use, and we proactively clean out around their gums and make sure that they have the best hygiene in the world.
That's great.
All right, you guys.
And what we have here are called EEDs, or environmental enrichment devices, and that's just a fancy word for toys. So these are our killer whale toys. They're big plastic hard toys that we can play with them with. Something really fun that we do to kind of dress those toys up is we'll make flavorless, sugarless gelatin. And we can make some hard jello with it. Then we can also make some jello that's kind of like a paste or a glue, and we'll glue some jello onto these toys. So you might see, as those toys in the pool are floating by, you might see some like white or colored pieces of gelatin on it. We like to food color them to make them more fun.
But the whales will interact with them by kind of squirting water on them to get the jello off. They might bite the jello off. Sometimes they're sharing them together. It's really fun to watch them interact with those toys. Looks like she's gonna great. Oh, there's a little bit of jello. Just tipping it back. There's a little bit of jello in that big barrel if she ends up tipping it this way. But something really cool about this pool is that the bottom of it kind of looks like the ocean's bottom, the way that it's been designed. So this is a great way to look and see what the camouflage does for the killer whale. So the top of the whale is black and the bottom is white. So when an animal is swimming above the whale looking down, the black is going to blend in with the bottom of the ocean more. And when an animal is swimming under them, they're going to see the white of their tummy. It's going to blend in with the clouds, the sun, the sky. Yeah, so we're doing a play session right now. He's playing with the rings.
Is this one coming? The blue ball. This one.
Some of that jello stuff to eat on the top. If you guys have any questions while you're standing here, feel free to ask me. So she just ripped off a piece of jello and gave it to Katina. So these guys, some of the reinforcement we can give them are toys besides fish. We can also give them ice. Some of them like ice. We can give them scratches. There's a variety of different reinforcement that we can give them.
Fish in the hole. The toy right here.
Oh yeah, so you'll see Morgan is spicing up this toy by putting some beef light, some fish in the middle of it. And she's gonna throw it for Tina. Tina's gonna throw the fish out of the toy. We have some half dome shaped toys too. We can fill fish in them and they'll kind of tip it back like a drink.
Gelatin on the ball, but white gelatin.
Don't that claw. Do you guys have any last questions for me before we head out?
So there's like dogwood.
Aww. You got it on her fin. How cute.
So some of these toys can be used to kind of on a different So you see, we just put that ring on the London pectoral flipper. She kind of asked her to swim along. It's fun to learn new behaviors as well as play.
Look at it. So cool.
Alright, she's sticking a herring in there now.
Oh my god. So cute.
You guys have any questions for me about this or anything that you've seen the entire time?
Good girl.
That's a great question.
Set the ring back. One around the pool with the ring.
Alright guys, thank you so much for coming today. Brad over here is going to take you guys out.
Thank you so much. Bye. Bye bye. Oh my god. Bye. Look at them. Well, everyone, what an awesome day here at SeaWorld Orlando, checking out Inside Look. They do this event usually once a year here in January, sometimes in May, and a couple other times of the year too, but it's hard to find unless you're going to be traveling to SeaWorld at the exact time this is going on. But hopefully through the video you can see all the great things that SeaWorld does here for these animals. The Orca Encounter right now, that was absolutely awesome to see all of the interactions with the whales. We saw how they feed the animals throughout the day. We got to see the penguins and the nesting. That was super cute. Lots of great stuff here at SeaWorld. If you liked today's video, hit like and subscribe down below to see more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new video, which is usually once a week. And also subscribe on social media like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. CFL Park Hopper on all three. Thanks for watching.